RetroDaze.
When I say slime, what's the first thing you think of? I'm going to go out on a limb and assume your answer largely depends on your birth year. If you're an 80s kid, maybe your first thought is of Slimer in the Ghostbusters or Hordak's Evil Horde Slime Pit. If you're more of a 90s kid, then you might first think of Nickelodeon Gak or the Monster Face playset, later rebranded as Goosebumps Monster Headmaker. The interesting thing isn't so much the specific image that pops into your head, but rather that there are so many to choose from.
Because, let's be real for a second, why the heck are we so obsessed with slime? I was surprised to discover that the first slime toy was not born in the 1980s. I'm not sure why, but I assumed that kids only first became aware of the allure of the green goop through the movie Ghostbusters. The truth is, our collective obsession predates the movie by at least a decade because Mattel was actually selling slime, a non-toxic, water-soluble combination of guar gum and borax, in a tiny trash can as early as 1976. Later iterations of the slime would also include small items inside like rubber insects, eyeballs, and worms. Without conducting a large-scale study, I think it's safe to assume that kids are simply fascinated with gross stuff. Think back to your childhood, and I'm sure you'll uncover a multitude of gross-out memories. Booger flicking, armpit farting, and burger breath burping nastiness that only a preteen could conjure. Some brilliant SOB in the Mattel marketing department knew there was huge sales potential there, and the gross-out game was kicked into high gear. The stuff was so popular that in 1977, CBS 8's Carol Kendrick even went to Toy World in Fashion Valley to report on the growing interest and test the product out with adults and kids alike.
Oh, God! Can I dump
You
it
can
out?
look now.
Oh, What happened?
Yuck. Gooey. Slimy. I just over me.
You like it?
Yeah, feels like the inside of a snail.
Hula hoops and pet rocks make way for slime. I'm Carol Kendrick for TV8 News from Fashion Valley.
But the trend didn't begin and end with simple slime in a can. Like any good toy company, once the marketing team at Mattel saw the resounding success of slime, they got straight to work applying it to other, more elaborate products.
This is a slime monster. The slime runs out of his mouth. This is the Slime Monster game, where you slime the other players with the monster.
It's my turn.
And sometimes
I got you.
they slime you. The winner
Look out, monster.
gets the monster.
I won.
The loser has to clean up.
Oh, yuck.
The Slime Monster game comes complete with slime compound, new from Mattel.
The Slime Monster game from Mattel came out a year later in 1977, lending new purpose to the popular can of goop by attempting to gamify it. The board and monster designs are both colorful and appealing, even without the added thrill of creating a slimy mess all over the playfield. Gameplay mimicked creature features of the decade as you try to outrun a giant monster. The spinner allowed for your own player movement as well as the movement of the slime monster, which you'd attempt to direct toward your opponents. If the green behemoth got close enough, it would spill slime onto the unlucky player's piece using the 4-ounce container of compound provided with each game.
Mork with Talking Space Pack says 8 things. Mork Talking Ragdoll says 7 things. When you pull the string, you can never be sure what these two will say next. And here's Mork from Ork. An Ork egg, and Mindy Doll, too. 5 fun toys, each sold separately. Mork Doll with Talking Space Pack. Other Mork collection toys are each sold separately. New from Mattel.
In 1979, Mattel released the Ork Egg, which was part of the Mork and Mindy toy line. In practice, it was essentially a repackaging of the old slime in a trash can product branded for Mork and Mindy fans. Inside the Ork Egg, you got a tiny orc figure and slime. While this wasn't groundbreaking, it kept the interest in slime alive another year, and as the 70s became the 80s, other knockoffs started appearing like the ever-present 25-cent vending machine capsules full of goop. But that didn't stop Mattel.
Now, Hordak reveals the most gruesome trap ever. The Horde Slime Pit.
The what?
The Slime Pit.
Now, Spikeler, you're my slave, not the slime. Yes, my slime will overpower you. I've been slimed. No one escapes the evil Horde Slime Pit. Yes.
The Evil Horde Slime Pit from the Masters of the Universe. You put it together. Action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
Mattel released the Evil Horde Slime Pit around 1985 to, I can only imagine, the delirious delight of all Masters of the Universe fans alive. The playset boasted an imposing throne in which Hordak would trap do-gooders using a skeletal claw while the creature skull above vomited slime all over the prisoner. Without detracting from the pure awesomeness of this toy, and it was awesome, we begin to see a pattern form with slime-related toys. At the end of the day, they all do the same thing, present you with a creative way to dispense the slime, usually all over another toy. And if you think that would eventually lose its appeal, you're 100% wrong.
There's something strange in the neighborhood.
So who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Each sold separately.
Have no fear. Becky, Steph, and Spangler are here. So are these ghosts. They've got ectoplasm. We've been goofed. Now what? Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Let's show this pile of dessert who's boss. Activate Neutrona Blaster. We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Peter Venkman, Ectoplasm, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and other figures each sold separately. Ghostbusters, new from Kenner.
Kenner got in on the action a couple years later in 1987. And while it seemed a foregone conclusion that once Ghostbuster merchandise hit store shelves, it would include some form of slime, it didn't become part of the lineup until the second wave of toys with purple ectoplasm. During the third wave, they added red, yellow, and blue. To keep things interesting, the canisters of ectoplasm also had a variety of plastic ghosts inside. The purple ecto came with an ecto ghost, according to the can, which could be one of 4 different designs in random colors of yellow, red, blue, and purple. The red ectoplasm contained a Come to Your Senses ghost, which came in 3 different designs, all in yellow. Yellow ectoplasm containers housed one of 3 different blue full floating torso ghosts. And finally, the blue ectoplasm contained one of 3 skullful manifestation ghosts in red. In 1989, as part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line, Playmates Toys released canisters of Retro Mutagen Ooze. There would be some variation to their proprietary slime, but the original came with a pre-mutant turtle or splinter inside, and a later release would see the plastic figures as glow-in-the-dark variants. The container officially named the contents number 5531, 4 ounces non-toxic green gel with plastic figure. You know, just in case kids thought they could actually mutate themselves with the gooey stuff, since on the other side of the very same container they state, mutate like a real Ninja Turtle.
Lisa, Alistair, I'm going to give you your choice of punishment. Now, either you will copy this entire dictionary from cover to cover, or you will watch You Can't Do That on Television on Nickelodeon.
The dictionary.
Watch You Can't Do That on Television. Weekdays at 4 and 7 Eastern, 3 and 6 Central.
Meanwhile, on television through the 80s and 90s, Nickelodeon was solidifying itself as the slimiest network on Earth, and it all started with You Can't Do That on Television, which began its life in 1979 on both CJOH-TV in Ottawa and ITV in the United Kingdom. The low-budget variety program for children was developed as pure entertainment by creator Roger Price, who made no attempt to fashion an educational show. Instead, he leaned into zany fun, like the show's trademark green slime being poured over anyone uttering the phrase, "I don't know." Slime was this signal of irreverence, Roger Morris, a writer for the show, said of its instant popularity. It said, "We're just gonna laugh and see cool things. We won't be learning lessons on how to be nice to other kids." The slime on that show became a symbol of the solidarity of oppressed kids, said Scott Webb, creative director of Nickelodeon. It's tough to be a kid in the adult world. They don't get cut any slack. When they don't know how to do something right, they get slimed. We never use mess to humiliate kids. It's a celebration of how tough it is to be a kid. The Canadian hit eventually attracted the interest of Nickelodeon producers, and by 1982 they were airing edited versions of You Can't Do That on Television, which quickly became their highest rated program. Nickelodeon took the goop and ran with it, further slimifying its place as the grossest network on television. For her article on Vice.com, Sarah Berman writes, "Through the 80s, Nick added slime to a slew of new shows, Double Dare, Wild and Crazy Kids, and Figure It Out, to name a few. Morris recalls something of a slime arms race, writing one You Can't Do That on Television episode with an unheard of 8 kids getting slimed. Meanwhile, Double Dare upped the ante by introducing a number of slime-based physical challenges into their game show. What kid could resist the challenge of picking a giant booger-filled nose? No kids, that's who.
Look, it's slippery. And the question is, what's the capital of Hungary? It's slimy. A right answer gets you $1, the dare gets you double, or you can take the physical challenge.
Physical challenge.
It's messy. You're looking terrific. Crazy day here. I can feel it already. It's squishy. Look under that butter. Look under that butter. Anything can happen. This is an exciting game. It's Double Dare, and it's more fun than a barrel of.
Today at 4:30 on 19XIX.
In a spasm of divine inspiration, Nickelodeon even branched out to create its own slime-based toy called GAC, based on the variety of slimy substances used on Double Dare with the help of Mattel's slime experts.
What is GAC?
GAC is great stuff. Oozy. GAC is stretchy.
You can pull it. Make GAC sounds.
How rude.
Suck it up and squirt it out with a GAC back. Pump it up and blow it up with a GAC inflator.
Well, I never.
Nickelodeon GAC comes in different colors, sizes, and playsets, each sold separately. Coming soon from Mattel.
Disgusting.
I never got any of the add-on toys like the GAC Vac, copier, or inflator, but I absolutely purchased the small, splat-shaped container of GAC. There was something undeniably irresistible about this stuff. It wasn't quite like my old trash can of 70s slime, which was far more drippy and harder to contain. GAC held together better with a rubbery consistency. Joel Garreau of the Washington Post quite possibly described it best when he likened it to raw liver and went on to say, "The jiggly, gross, stretchy, slippery, icky, and strangely addictive substance smells like the butt end of a bad bottle of wine, feels like oysters, and comes in 9 strikingly bright colors." Released in 1992, just ahead of the Christmas season, Nickelodeon's breakthrough product did phenomenally well, selling more than 160,000 units at Walmart and outpacing sales of Silly Putty, Turtle Ooze, Batman figures, and Crash Dummies, according to Mattel. And they didn't stop with GAC. Over the years, a number of Nickelodeon compounds hit the stores, including Floam, Smud, Gooze, Smatter, Squeeze, and Zand.
In a few seconds, Nickelodeon's president, Gerald Laybourne, will throw a switch, and kablooey! The green slime geyser will erupt for the very first time!
Here we go. Everybody okay here? Yeah! Oh!
So the question remains, why are we so obsessed with slime? The obvious answer is that it's just fun, but James C. McNeil, a behavioral scientist who spent 25 years studying play, has deeper insight. He aptly noted that kids are just discovering their sensory systems. It doesn't matter if it's rough or smooth, they just simply have a strong sentience need. Further, the Washington Post reports that when Mattel watched people through two-way mirrors, they noticed that both kids and adults would not leave GAC alone. One mother was going on about how she found this stuff repulsive, remembered John Handy, a Mattel spokesperson. After about 20 minutes of this, another parent asked her whether she realized that during her entire speech, she had been playing with the GAC non-stop. Apparently, this wasn't surprising to psychologists who have long known about Silly Putty's stress-relieving qualities, often used by Wall Street traders and smoke-ending programs.
Barring any definitive answers, slime-based products continue to be sold today, even if they are largely remembered as mainstays of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Look around the toy shelves and you'll still find slime, goop, and sludge for sale in a variety of iterations. Even as gross-out toys evolve, giving us such wonderful gems as Mad Balls, Creepy Crawlers, Garbage Pail Kids, Boglins, Mad Scientist playsets, and so much more, for me, it all started with slime. How about you? Were you also obsessed with slime? What was your favorite slime-based toy? Well, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell. It really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate Yesteryear, right here on RetroDaze.
Clicky clacky.